Zombie apocalypse.
Hey guys, welcome to another Top Drives video, and today it's another beginner's guide, and this one is on fusing and tuning cars. So very simply, we are going to start with what is fusing and why. So what is fusing? Well, fusing is basically improving your car's status by putting other cars into that car. Now it's actually very simple, and basically what you're going to do is move 3 unwanted cars into each section, and you are going to fuse it. That's as simple as it is. Fusing will then take the car to the next stage. So as you can see here, it's currently 1.3, but when it fuses, it will then go to 2.1. And that allows you to continue building that car and making the car stronger and more competitive. So now I just want to get some of the terminology out there, because different people use different terms. The first one is the 3-2-3 style terminology. So basically, what you can see here is that the engine is upgraded to 3, the weight is upgraded to 2, and then the handling is upgraded to 3. And that is what I like to call the 3-2-3 terminology, but you've got 3-3-2, you've also got 2-3-3 as well. And again, I will go through them fuses with you and what they are for a little bit later. But then we also have the 9-6-9 terminology. And what I mean by that is, if you look, it's 9 upgrades for engine, 6 upgrades for weight, and then 9 upgrades for your handling. And some people like to use the 3-2-3 version. Some people like to use the 9-6-9 version. Now, throughout this video, I will be using the 3-2-3 version. That is my preferred choice. But that is completely your decision. But I just wanted to get the terminology out there so you understood what I mean by 3-2-3, 3-3-2, 2-3-3, 9-6-9, 9-9-6, and 6-9-9. And then, of course, there is the hybrid fuses, which are a little bit more complicated, but we will talk about them again a little bit later. So, how do I decide to build a car? Well, in the game, there is you've got drag specialists, and you've got twisty specialists, and then you've also got city specialists, high-speed specialists, off-road specialists. There's so much. And deciding how to build that car can be crucial on how it performs and how it performs against not only itself in other races, but other cars in other races. So we're going to start by looking at a drag car. So if you take this drag car, for instance, its sole purpose in the game is drag. It's not a twisty car. It's not a city car. It's not an off-road car. Its sole purpose is to get from A to B in a straight line as quick as possible. So you are going to want to build this one 3-3-2. So that means taking your engine up to 3, your weight up to 3, and then handling If you choose, you can take it up to 2, or you can leave it at 1. I like the look of 3-star cars, so I always finish them if absolutely necessary. Moving on from a drag car, you're going to look at the generic sort of twisty city car. And it does get a little bit more complicated as we go further up the rarities. So basically, anything from common to rare, if you're building a city car or you are building a twisty car, it's generally 3-2-3. So we're going to be doing 3 on the handling, 3 on the weight, and 3 on the engine. I know I did that on the wrong way, but you get what I'm saying. It's 3-2-3. And what I mean by a city car is a medium ride height car. And I will do a whole video on city streets. But for today, we're just going to be looking at the fusing. If you are looking at building a high-end ultra, an epic, or a legendary, this is obviously a little bit more advanced, but it depends on the car again. But what you find is that most rear-wheel drive epics will be a 2-3-3 build. If you are building a high-end drag car, it's going to be a 3-3-2 build. But then you do, again, have the exceptions, wet weather cars, so sort of standard tyre cars, just like this Cadillac. 3-2-3 on the wet is a very good build. It probably does lose 2-3-3 to other cars of the same stature, but it might win X amount of races as this stature as well. So building a car, certainly a higher level car, making sure the correct fuse is right for the correct car. So, what cars are needed for fusing? Well, if you are still very new to Top Drives, there is 7 classes of cars. You have common, uncommon, rare, super rare, ultra rare, epic, and finally legendary. Now, each one of these gradually gets harder to upgrade. So if we're going to start with common, it's going to take common cars to upgrade it. So you are cannibalizing the same level of car to upgrade it. Now, every single car to max is 15 cars. It's 5 fuses, 24 upgrades, and 15 cars. So, like I said, common is going to take common, and they're so easy to get hold of. You'll find them in most low-level packs. Uncommon, you can either fuse 15 common cars or 15 uncommon cars. But of course, common cars are cheaper and easier to get hold of than uncommon cars. Rare cars will then take up to 15 uncommon cars or 15 rare cars. Now, I'd never recommend upgrading rare cars with rare cars. I would upgrade them with the uncommons for the simple fact that you want to start using those rare cars to upgrade your super rare cars. Super rare cars, like I said, will take rares, and they will take 15 rare. Ultra rare will then take 15 super rare. So you've got to sacrifice 15 of those yellow cars to build one ultra rare. One epic will take 15 ultra rares, and this is where it starts to get expensive. And what I was saying about making mistakes with your fuses, you want to make sure that every fuse is correct, because 15 ultra rares is not cheap. Legendaries will then take 15 epics, and you really, really want to make sure that every single legendary car that you are going to upgrade in this game is correct. You don't want to be putting stupid fuses in if you really don't need to. But legendaries can also take a single legendary car. If you have a duplicate legendary, then you can actually use that to fuse a car. But of course, it's getting the duplicate legendary that you don't want to use as food. So if you put a wrong fuse in, not all is lost. It depends on the rarity of car in realism. If you were to put the wrong fuse in a common car, it's no big deal, you've lost 3 commons. If you were to put the wrong fuse in a legendary, you've lost 3 epics. But putting the wrong fuse in is easily rectified. I'd say anywhere up to ultra rare. Anything after that, I'd be a little bit annoyed. Basically, you make sure that you do not finish that upgrade. So if you've put your final fuse in if you wanted to build a drag car, a drag ultra rare, say, and you've built it 3 on the engine upgrade, 2 on the weight upgrade, and then you've accidentally upgraded it to 3 on the handling, then what you want to do is do not finish that handling. Put another fuse in to the weight and rectify what you've done. Yes, you've lost 3 super rares, but you haven't ruined your car. If you finish that upgrade, then there is no going back, unfortunately. You have got the car that you have got. Now, there's not saying that a wrong upgrade isn't always going to work for you, because sometimes actually they do. But make sure that the first one you've got is always the correct fuse that you want it to be, because sometimes you might not pull that car again for a long time. Now, hybrid fuses and tunes are slightly different. They revert from the generic 323, 233, or 323 that we've previously talked about. And they are, and I have to revert back to the other terminology, they are a 789, a 987, a 978. They are just a little bit wacky, a little bit off the scale. And what I was saying about putting the wrong fuse in previously, some people actually take that on board and build some crazy cars. Now, hybrid fuses can work, I guess. I've come up against a few. I've never personally built a hybrid fuse. Rarely do they work, though, I think. I think they generally lose against themselves more often than they don't. But I would say to you that if you really do want to do a hybrid fuse, experiment with really low-level cars, commons, uncommons, and rares. I wouldn't really go too high, because you are using more food, you're using more cash. But yeah, if you do want to play with them, go ahead. I just don't think they work so well. So I guess you might be interested in how long it takes for each rarity to fuse. And I'm going to talk about Tier 1 and Tier 2 fuses. Tier 1 is your moving your car from 1.3 to 2. And Tier 2 will be moving your car from 2.3 to 3. Now, a common car to get tier 1 will cost you 5 minutes, and this is real life time. It will take 5 minutes of time, and you can only put one fuse on at once for each car too, just to clarify. So tier 2 for a common car is 15 minutes, and the total time 45 minutes to max a common car. To max an uncommon car, tier 1 will take you 15 minutes, and tier 2 will then take you 30 minutes, and it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to max an uncommon car. A rare car, you're going to then have 30 minutes for a tier 1, and it's then 60 minutes for a tier 2 fuse. And the total time, around 3.5 hours. And you can see here it's literally doubling each time. For a tier 1 fuse on a super rare will be 1 hour. And a tier 2 fuse will then become 2 hours, and the total time to fuse and max super rare will be around 7 hours. Moving on to ultra rare, it takes 2 hours for a first tier upgrade, and then 4 hours for a second tier upgrade, totaling around 14 hours for you to max an ultra rare. Moving on to epic, it takes 4 hours per fuse for tier 1, and it will take you 8 hours for your second tier 2 fuse, which totals around 28 hours. So that's like just over a full day then to max an epic. And then finally, a legendary. Well, your first fuse on a legendary is going to take 8 hours. And then your second one, you've probably guessed it by now, is 16 hours. And to totally max a legendary from start to finish, it's 56 hours. So that's a hell of a lot of fusing. So we're going to talk about fast fusing now. And what do I mean by fast fusing? Well, if you look here, you can see that to finish off a fuse will cost you X amount of gold. Now, that gold will increase as the car rarity increases. So it's very small to fast fuse a common, but very expensive to fast fuse a legendary. But fast fusing has recently changed. So it used to cost the same amount to fast fuse a legendary, whether you started it with 8 hours to go or whether it was 5 minutes to go. It used to cost 550 gold. They've recently changed it so that there's a countdown timer now, and as the time decreases on the fuse, so does the gold. My advice for fast fusing is don't. Unless you are in a finals and you are really pushing for the prize car, you've got an hour to go, you've still got 2 hours left on fuse, and you're like, I need to get this car done now. That's a time to fast fuse. Other than that, just let the natural progression of fusing do its work. Free upgrades, you say? Yes. Now, I've worked it out that every half an hour, after every 3 races, you will get this. And this is a free upgrade. And you can do it something like 10, 12 times a day. I'm not quite sure how many you can do. Take them, use them. You only have to watch an advert. Some adverts are 5 seconds, some adverts are 30 seconds. It is what it is. Now, free upgrades will only work up to rare, and it's 2.1. So you could put a comment on for fuse. You could let your free upgrades do up to 1.3. Fuse, and then allow your upgrades to take it up to 2.3. So that will do it on common and uncommon, but on a rare, it will take it up to 1.3. You put your fuse in, it will then take it up to 2.1. That is as far as they will go. But then you've also got this, which is the rewards advert section of the game. And these three icons here at the bottom will give you free upgrades as well. But they don't give you as far as the adverts for the previous one. So just be aware of that. But you get three upgrades every couple of hours. So why not take advantage of them while you can? Oh, and don't forget, you get free gold, and you can get free cash, and a free pack. Good luck. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is putting your very first upgrade into either an epic or a legendary. Now, putting a fuse into an epic or a legendary is quite a big deal, especially for a newer player. And my best advice that I can give you is, if you're going to do it, make your epic or legendary 1-2-1. And I say that for one very simple reason. That car will beat the same car in every race at 1-2-1 over 1-1-1. So on a drag race, you'll win because your car's lighter. On a twisty circuit, you will win because even if the stat is invisible, and what I mean by invisible is the handling is still the same, but because you've got a slight upgrade, you will win on twisty. You will win on a slalom, you will win on a hairpin, you will win on a G-force. And certainly when you get your McLaren, and certainly when you get your Camaro, these are the first ones that you want to put in. So guys, I hope that has been helpful to you. And go and have some fun. Experiment with lower end upgrades. But please, be careful. Take what you can out of this video and better your garage, and progress further on in the game. Have fun in Top Drives. Smash that like and subscribe button. Continue to follow me for more Top Drive videos, guys. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.